Welcome back to VMware Explorer 2023 in Las Vegas. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Tony Foster, and welcome to the session on AI on the Horizon, delivering virtualized AI environments to students. So I am Tony Foster. I'll be your presenter today. I am an adjunct professor at K-State University in Kansas. I also happen to work for Dell Technologies as a technical marketing engineer. That's my primary job. And today we're going to talk about delivering virtual AI environments to students so that they can actually work on AI as they go through their schooling and gain experience they need to actually administer an AI environment. We've got a lot to talk through. I originally submitted this session as a hour-long session, so I'm packing an awful lot of stuff here into 12 minutes. So what we're doing at K-State, we're going through and wanting to deliver AI to our students. That way they can actually practice managing it, working with it, building models, training models, all of these different things. And we're actually starting small. We're starting with a single class just to make sure that we can do all of it and make sure that we can validate all of it. And we're starting with our CMST 180 class, which is Intro to Database Systems. We are going to have our students go through and manage databases with a GPU backend. So there are a few things that have to go along with that. We obviously have to provide them with a management experience where they can go in, they can see the GPU, they can pull all the stats and everything. It has to be an isolated environment. I don't know of anyone who'd be super excited about turning students who have just started working with databases loose on a enterprise system. So you want to have it isolated. This also has to be able to be addressed by both traditional on-site students and our global students. So we have students coming in from all over the earth taking our classes, and we want to make sure that they have the same opportunity as those students who are on premises have. And so we're making that accessible to all of them, and we're doing this with minimal IT resources. Guess. So because this is a pilot, because I only have a few resources to work with, I'm building this with extra stuff left over in the lab. I have about 3 servers, and we'll talk about the environment here later, and a bunch of GPUs that are left over from a program we had earlier on in 2020. So there are some other constraints that go along with this. Like I mentioned, this is a trial only. So we're just trying it out. We're making sure we can actually do this. And so far it looks like it'll be successful. I mentioned the existing equipment. We have to do this from the VPN. So our students can hit the student VPN, log in, and be able to reach our labs. And we're just going to put a VMware Horizon portal up there, and they just go to that web address, and they'll be able to get to it. We're not putting it out on the public web for them to access. And the primary reason for that is we're trying to minimize our impact with IT and having to do a bunch of certificates and stuff. So we're going to actually keep it inside. We're doing a small group, 8 to 10 students, and we're going to deliver both Ubuntu desktops and Windows servers to our students so that they have the full breadth of being able to work with these database servers that I've talked about. The other constraint that goes along with this is this has to promote learning. We can't just go, okay, here's the 180 class, y'all go in and do your database thing. We have other classes that are in the labs and everything, so we need to make sure that those students are able to learn from this environment as well, and be able to understand the networking that's going on, understand the administration of these systems. So even though this is targeted at 180, other classes such as our system administration class will actually be tapping into this environment to learn to administer it, learn to configure some of the things that are going on in the back end that the database students won't be touching this semester. And above all, I have no budget. At least not yet, not until I can prove that it works. So, you might be going, well, why don't you just do the traditional thing, give all the students a server and let them have at it. I don't know how many people have tried to get GPUs recently. I don't know how many people think that it'd be easy to give $1,000 GPUs or $2,000 GPUs to each student to let them work, but those traditional approaches don't work. They're not feasible to do. They're not reproducible. So if a student messes something up, and I'm sure everybody here can say, you know, when I was in college or when I was learning this stuff, I never messed anything up. Nobody raises their hand. I'm not shocked. So it's not repairable, it's not reproducible, and it's not provisionable. We need to be able to provision these. We need to make it so that our faculty can go in and build labs for the week or for whatever time they need and can just punch those out to the students real quick. So there's a better solution to this. And that better solution is VMware Horizon. We're going to be delivering virtual desktops to our student. We're able to templatize all of these things so we can instantly address needing to be able to repair an issue if a student messes something up, or punch out new labs each week for the students, or whatever. We have isolation, so every student can have their own separate desktop. They can have their own separate GPU experience. They can have their choice of operating system depending on what they're working on. They get a slice of the GPU, which is wonderful, and we can use different technologies depending on whether or not we need balanced shares or not. And they can get better GPU utilization for all of the students instead of trying to figure out who gets what. So, that said, let's get into the meat of this. This is what we architected for the physical environment. We have a couple of Dell R740s. Each one of them contains a V100 GPU, because that's what I've got right now. Hopefully this will be growing. They're connected via a pair of mesh 10 gig switches. They all have local SSD storage in them. So to start with, we'll put them on SSD storage. Hopefully here at the end of the semester, I'll be able to get at least another R740 so that I can actually expand this out and do a vSAN cluster. And then we have an old SAN, and that's actually where we're storing a bunch of our image repos and stuff so that we can pull them in on the databases once the students start learning how to do all of that. And then, of course, we have a cluster management. And our cluster management is isolated. That way we can focus all of the resources on the R740s for student learning so that we can really boost up the memory for the students and give them the maximum number of processors we can. So here is the logical view of what we architected. We obviously have our internet down there with the students. They come up through the K-State VPN, or if they're on campus, they can just log in from any system on campus. They go through our firewall and they'll hit a connection server. Then they'll get the choice of what virtual machines they want to use. We've got the Ubuntu ones and we've got the Windows servers. All of those will have vGPU profiles attached to them, and they can go in, select what they need, and start working on those right away, doing large language models or anything else that's going to be covered in the class. Obviously, large language models won't be covered in the database class, but it is one of the things on the future roadmap. The student experience is exactly what you would expect from VMware Horizon. any device the student has, and they have them all, I've seen them all in class, they hit the K-State VPN, they hit the lab portal website, and they just select which virtual machine they want, and it's like they're working on a virtual machine. And there's nothing like showing a student a Linux desktop that appears to be running on an iPad. It blows their mind, and then they start getting to work, and it's an awesome experience for them. So, there are a couple of stumbling blocks you need to be aware of if you're looking to do this. So, you want to have your environment licensed for NVIDIA AI Enterprise, not virtual workstation. And there's an important distinction there. AI Enterprise is geared towards these larger cards and doing AI workloads. Virtual workstation is geared towards delivering a graphical experience. And the A100s, I know I'm using the V100s, but this is an important note, don't have display heads, which means you can't use the graphical features when you're doing Horizon. Also, we're not doing linked clones because in linked clones, it asks you about what GPU profile to use and everything, and it doesn't quite work out right. And then we have Active Directory. We're not linked to the school's Active Directory system, and that is intentional. So, current state of the environment, it's built, it's working. I have configuration of the base instances to finish up, and getting the teachers to tell me what they want their templates to be. Then I have to get K-State IT to actually give me my DNS entry to let everything out of the firewall so that the students can get to it. Future state, we're going to expand it. AI Enterprise is going to be on there. We'll get VMware Horizon licenses, actual ones instead of the demo, and additional hosts and GPUs to work with. So, with that, thank you for joining me today for this very abbreviated session. If you have questions, see me off to the side or hit me up on any of these.